in Mayan lore, from what I've been exposed to so far, you know, realities come into our reality via our subconscious, via the underworld. So the stuff in the telluric realm rises up and it becomes part of our reality. And it's a very potent abyss that these things come from. And so the Mayans were telling us about this. They were giving us signs and ways of working to support us through this. One of them being our techniques, dances, songs to how to build a strong energy field. So one of the components that I have found is when the stronger your energy field is, the more you build it, strengthen it, anchor in it, the less susceptible you are to the proliferation of this nanotech. So nanotech, now that's not the only piece, because there's other pieces too, because it also has to do with consistency or frequency and stuff like this. But the stronger your energy field is, the stronger your homeostasis is, and you have the capacity to continually break down these particles. Okay, so that's a beautiful thing for the Mayan elders to pass on to us. Now there's also the Inca, the last descendants of the Inca, known as the Quero, or Quechua. Also, they've also been active in outreach work to reach out to the West. And with them, they're talking about the prophecy of the eagle and the condor flying wingtip to wingtip. And there's a beautiful story that they have about these prophecies. And some people think that means that the spirit of South America will be equal to the intellectualness of North America. I mean, there's people that translate it like this. But in the landscape that I'm seeing, what this is the eagle and the condor flying wingtip to wingtip is talking about also that way of thinking differently, the way to balance our spirit thinking, our heart intelligence, and our intellectual intelligence, bringing them together. Because once they are together, you have the genius mind and the heart-centered, connected intent. Okay, and so you're using your genius mind, your problem-solving capacities to serve your fellow man, to serve humanity, to bring better things to your family, to your people, to your land, to your animals, to your environment. Okay. And then there's others that also give beautiful stories. Actually, there was one that I just found last night. Totally made me cry. It was so gorgeous, and it was this was in general terms. They didn't even say what indigenous lineage or tradition this came from, but they talked about a jungle burning. So jungles, in my mind, I go to South and Central America. And the story is about a great fire was upon the jungle and animals were fleeing. And there was a jaguar watching all these animals flee. And except for one, the jaguar was seeing a hummingbird kept going towards the fire. And then the jaguar saw the hummingbird again flying out of the fire. And the jaguar is saying, "Hey, what are you doing? Why do you keep going back to the fire?" Such a beautiful story, very heart touching. And you guys got to know that the hummingbird has a lot of significance in archetypally in the subconscious of humanity. So this story really is in a deep vein of what that particular archetypal wisdom provides humanity. Anyway, so the hummingbird says, "I'm going to the lake and I'm bringing water back to the fire." And the jaguar thought it was ridiculous. The jaguar thought, what that little drop of water coming from your mouth, what's that going to do to the fire? And, I think that connects where a lot of people are, because we're little. What's the story? David and Goliath. We're little. We're just us in our little corner. Maybe some of us are powerhouses, And we have a sense of that. Maybe many of us aren't. Maybe we're just, little humble schmoes that just want to be left alone, living in the mountains or the woods or whatever. So this idea of what's that little bit that you're doing going to have um, any impact? Wow, there's a lot of emotion here. I'm tapping into this collective piece of hopelessness. I think I would call it hopelessness. Yeah. But I will continue the story. So the hummingbird says, "The jungle is my home." Wow, guys, there's a lot in this collective that is afraid to call home. Whoa. Sorry, I'm in the moment just tracking that. So the jungle is my home. I am of her and she is of me. She feeds me. She feeds my family. She gives me life. So how could I not put water on this fire? Think about that for a minute. There's something here that cracks. This concept that I'm saying right here cracks some sort of hopeless despair code. And the concept of, I think, that has been coined by it's better to die with your boots on than to die laying down. This concept right here, this is a heart code. This is a heart code. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm getting altered tracking this energy. So let me come back to this story. So the hummingbird says, how can I not bring water to this fire? And the truth of this struck the forest spirits so deeply because it's a truth. It's like a lightning bolt, I want to say, because it's a truth. And they, the forest spirits, the jungle spirits, called on the rain, and a torrential downpour came and put out the fire. And the part about the story about the nature spirits, the jungle spirits, being so touched by a sentiment, by a truth, an innocent truth, is really important. This is the part of the code that's getting cracked. And that is, this is our home. And I don't mean your address, and I don't mean I don't mean that we're earthbound in that way. Home is a feeling, home is a frequency. And if you are home, then your focus, your love, your creativity, your capacity to create is focused in that lens, in that place. So when you say something is your home, okay, you are owning that as the place where you are to exist with your consciousness and do whatever that intent is. You are taking responsibility in its existence. And that's the code. This is my home. And when you truly open your heart and your innocence and connect with that, nature absolutely, I've had this experience a million times over. Nature, Mother Nature absolutely responds. And that's the interconnected piece that humanity needs to remember again, is that we are connected to this place. This biosuit connects us to this reality in such a deep way. We are nature. So this story is a profound story that not only on a state of being way cracks certain codes of assumptions we have or fears or wounds that we have, it also tells us that, in doing our part, we are having a much vaster impact. Doing our part not only does our part, but inspires others to what else is possible. And it touches the invisible world. It touches the natural world in such a way to respond to us. You see what I mean? I love this story. These stories like these, it really shows the beauty of what social media can do. It can bring you wonderful, wonderful reconnections with ancient lore. It can also bring a lot of chaos, of course, but it can bring wonderful connections with ancient lore that touches your spirit.